How's it going, guys? Anfield here. Welcome back to a new video. So recently I was sort of contemplating the fact that the channel was getting close to 20,000 subscribers and how crazy and awesome that was, but I was also thinking about the journey to get to that point. So I started to look back at some of my really old videos just to sort of get some nostalgia. And it was kind of fun to look at the game, how it was back then, and so I was sort of thinking, well, with the HD maps coming, we're going to have a new graphic overhaul with the game. It might be fun to look back on what the game used to look like and all the tanks that we used to have and things and how, things have generally changed about the game. So I thought you guys might enjoy taking a look at them with me, and I'll throw in some commentary and some story time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So the first thing you're looking at here is my Tiger 2, which was a video I made on the Tiger 2 as it was my highest tier tank at the time. You can see that the skin on there is obviously like a custom skin, as well as the E75. They both have a custom skin on them. So we're just brawling on Abby here, which is kind of amusing. You can see these IS3s, which have an older model on them. They have kind of a weird looking turret. I guess the stock turret and the main turret were swapped around maybe, but yeah. You can see that's the tier 9 IS4 heavy tank. So before the tier 10 IS4 was ever introduced, although apparently according to rumors soon we might have another tier 9 IS4 and a STI2 or something as tier 10, I don't know. But yeah, so this is the first video that I wanted to show you. I do have an earlier one which is from the Tiger, but it was like impossible to download. I don't know what was wrong with it, but wasn't much to show. It was just me and my Tiger, which at the time was my highest tier. You can see obviously I have very first reticle mod going on here. Dabbled in mods not too long after starting to play the game, so you'll see various different types of mods, I guess, through these videos before I eventually stopped using them a few years ago. But yeah, it's still kind of fun to see these old mods here as well. So next up we have the E75, and yeah, it was so much fun. I fell in love the second I unlocked this tank. I really did enjoy it so much, and at this time, the E75 really was king. The only rival it had was the IS4, but it was an incredibly powerful tank in its tier. It's a little bit outclassed these days, which is kind of sad to see, to be honest with you. But back here, it was really truly king. You see how basic the Sand River map is, though. Not really very good graphics, but that was just how it was back then. You can also see that I was shooting there at something called a slugger, which is just a Jackson. Why it was called that, I don't particularly know. But yeah, E75 I absolutely loved so much. So looking back here and talking about first loves, we have, of course, the E100. This is the first video I made in it. You'll also notice on the enemy team there are two tier 10 T30s, which of course was the old American tier 10 heavy tank. Before it was later swapped out for the E5 and moved to tank destroyer duty. But yeah, you can see the little modifications I'm using for the reticle have changed. Also, you'll see like that. I think that was in Russian there. The mod telling me that he was ammo-ranked. I think at this point too, there weren't over target markers unless you used modifications to the game. So I think all you had was a hit point or a hit. Yeah, I think you just had like a bar. You didn't actually see the hit points unless you used over target markers as a modification. So a little bit of old history there for you. So this is one of the first edited compilations I ever made, and it was a video I made to the 99 Problems song that was using one of the old Battlefield trailers. But I did it for World of Tanks. So actually, I'll just unmute it here so you can hear. So yeah, just a little bit of E100 here, but yeah, I was playing a lot of E100 actually at this time, beginning to sort of learn how to angle as well, so really enjoying it though. You can see that's the tank that doesn't exist anymore, and you can also see how the RAM didn't move the tank. That's because the physics that you and I know today weren't actually implemented, so you couldn't actually push dead tanks at this point. But yeah. So look at those double artillery shots. Don't know what that Panther is doing. But yeah, kind of fun to actually watch that again. So this video was actually when I'd only just unlocked the Bat Shack because it had only just been released. It's tier 9 medium at the time, which was top tier for mediums. This is Clan Wars. You can see that actually the enemy team has not been able to bring any tier 10s. So this is at a time where tier 10s were actually difficult for people to get to, and not many people had tier 10s. The game was still relatively in its infancy, so yeah, people hadn't had time to grind out tons of lines. And what we used the bat shot for was this sort of YOLO into the enemy base, because it's so fast and has a clip, and you sort of kill all the enemy artillery, which everyone brought a ton of artillery on these sand maps. This is the Africa map, Northern Africa, that basically you saw all Sand River and El Halouf. So good times, but we were baddie clan. Although we sort of did okay in the end. We had a good enough team. There's some old faces there that I recognize in the sort of lineup we have. But yeah, I mean it's fun. It's kind of cool to look back. At this time, I was really enjoying Clan Wars as well. I do definitely miss it. Sort of wish I could go back and get quite nostalgic about it sometimes. So this is patch 7.2. You can see here there's the new crew skills first being introduced. Before we only had repairs, camo, and firefighting, but then after this patch we had all the skills that you know today, which was the last time they were updated, which is why I made a video a little while ago saying that they should be touched upon. Also the patch that seemed to introduce live oaks for the first time, so there you go, that's the patch you have to thank for that. Over target markers is standard, so I was right about them just normally being a bar with no numbers on them, so now you can actually see the percent. You can see the old after battle thing. It used to be in the game, not actually in the garage as we know it today. So I forgot about that. Also added the mastery badge, and this was the swap with the E5 coming in, the T30 being moved to TD duty as well. So you can see the old vertical tech trees as well, which I think there's still mods around for that sort of thing, but so this is the E5 in action. This is actually Lakeville, but you can see the town is a little bit different here. The road used to be different, so they have changed it a little bit. They make a lot of subtle changes to these maps that you sort of forget about if you've been playing for a while, so it's kind of interesting to see it, I guess. You may have noticed earlier, too, the little thing that came up over the minimap alerting you to an enemy being located and saying the enemies are located, which is kind of weird to see, actually. That was never actually implemented in the game. I'm not sure why they decided to scrap it. I guess because it was just unuseful. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's there, so kind of cool to see something that never made it into the live servers. So here is, I guess, a platoon game. You can see I'm also platooned with a tier 7 IS, which now would be considered fail platooning, although it won't be possible for much longer. At this point, it wasn't really, because tier 7s and tier 6s even, and I think even tier 5s, I think it was like +5, -5. I couldn't remember exactly, but either way, an IS at least could certainly see tier 10. You can also see the difference in meta on Erlenberg purely because the spawns were swapped around at this point. And you can see also where the caps are. Rather than being opposite ends of the map north-south, they're just across the bridge from each other. So yeah, it sort of changes how the map plays a little bit. But even back then, still not a map I enjoyed. I don't think it's a very good map in today's meta or in the older meta. So this video is just me showing people how to use E100, because it used to be considered a very bad tank. Actually, at this point in time, you couldn't use heat for credits, of course. You could only use it if you had purchased gold. So, or in Clan Wars, you also had it in Clan Wars, I suppose. But yeah, this is just me showing people that you could use the tank and it could pen things and it could block damage and things like that. So you can see here penning the mouse cheek, which would not be possible now or even before the 9.1, 7.1 buff. But you used to be able to pen most things with AP if you aimed. Then they started going ham on armor a little while ago, and then it became harder and harder for the 100 to be effective with AP. But of course, we had the credit for premium shell updates, so the E100 became much more competitive at that point. So this is the physics test server for 8.0. This is me testing a bit of ramming. This is, I guess, the E100 out pushing my E50M, which I guess wouldn't have been possible before. You would have just rammed into each other and there would have been no movement either way. So yeah, just guess testing it out. But there's movement. I'm trying to recall really how things worked before the 8.0. It's kind of difficult. Rip that guy. But before, you couldn't get over stuff like this. You would just basically run into it as if it was an invisible wall. These were the very first climbers. Yeah, so those of you who think you're coolio, these guys did it first. And that's the T50-2. Some of you may remember those tanks, of course. But yeah, look at these climbers on mines. Yeah, it's kind of funny to see. But T-50-2 used to be like super duper fast. But we should see some of those times return to us with the tier 10 light tanks. Oh my god, I was memeing in the past. That's fantastic. Oh my god, that's fantastic. That's an accident, but I'm so glad I found that meme. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video before it gets too long. I still have plenty more videos to go through of old stuff that you might enjoy looking back or get nostalgic about, or if you've of course not seen it, then yeah, I think it's kind of cool to look back. This is of course the South Coast as we're looking now. This is a map that they removed. It wasn't actually that great, to be fair, but aesthetically it was quite cool, and it's quite disappointing that we don't have a reworked version of it that could have been more fun to play. But yeah, regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you had a good time. If you guys did enjoy the video, I'll make sure to sort of make a continuation so we can have a look at some of the other things I have lined up. I do have quite a lot of old YouTube videos, so there's other stuff that would be quite cool to look at as well. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought, if there's anything in here that you forgot about but the videos reminded you of, or just if you also felt nostalgic looking back as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.